It's hard to find a truly loyal friend in this world, one who will take care of you around the clock without asking for anything in return. But you know what? You already have such a friend, and it's always right there with you, inside your body. We're talking about the liver. This amazing laboratory of our body works without days off, processing everything we eat, drink, and breathe in, while at the same time protecting us from poisonous substances. Its main task is to cleanse the body of toxins so that the heart, brain, stomach, and other organs work together like a well-coordinated mechanism. However, few people know that the liver is not just a filter. In medical literature, it is credited with more than 500 functions. It participates in metabolism, produces important enzymes, and even influences energy levels and mood. You could say that the liver is one of the main conductors of our health. And like any loyal friend, it sends signals when it needs your help. Sometimes we blame these signs on fatigue, the weather, or stress, but in reality the body may be shouting at us, pay attention to the liver. We've put together a list of alarming signs that can help you understand when this organ is overloaded with toxins and needs support. Number 10. Pain in the liver area. If you've started to feel discomfort or pain in the right upper abdomen, this is a warning signal that should not be ignored. That's exactly where the liver is located, and any unpleasant sensations in that area may indicate that the organ is overloaded or even damaged. According to the American Liver Foundation, there are more than 100 different diseases of this vital organ. Some of them are hereditary, but a significant number of problems are linked to lifestyle, alcohol abuse, drug use, overeating, and poor nutrition. Most often, liver pain is described as dull and pulling, but there are times when it becomes sharp and acute. Why does this happen? It's simple. The liver not only filters toxins and removes waste products, but also processes food into useful substances that supply the whole body. If the organ is inflamed or affected by disease, its tissues begin to swell, and this swelling causes painful sensations. It's important to understand, liver pain is not just local discomfort, but a signal that toxins are building up in the body and the health laboratory can no longer cope with its task. Ignoring such symptoms means putting the entire body at risk. Number 9. Swelling of the legs and ankles. When the liver can no longer handle its responsibilities and toxins begin to accumulate in it, the body activates defense mechanisms. One of them is the formation of scar tissue. At first glance, this seems like self-healing, but in reality such changes only make the organ weaker. The more scar tissue forms, the worse the liver functions. Eventually, this can lead to a serious complication, portal hypertension. This medical term refers to increased pressure in the blood vessels of the liver. It disrupts normal circulation and causes fluid to start pooling in the lower part of the body. That's how swelling develops. Most often it appears in the feet, ankles, and calves, and in some people it rises higher, up to the knees and even the thighs. The good news is that such swelling is usually painless. But the downside is that it's easy to underestimate and blame on fatigue, hot weather, or sitting in one place too long. However, the liver is often the hidden cause of this problem. The physiology here is simple. Gravity pulls fluid downward, which is why swelling is most noticeable in the lower part of the body. If you suddenly notice that your shoes feel tight by evening, or there are marks left on your legs from socks or shoes, it's worth paying attention not only to your legs, but also to the state of your liver. Number 8. Gaining excess weight. You've probably noticed how many people enthusiastically take up sports and go on a diet every year, but after a couple of months face disappointment. The weight hardly goes down despite all the effort. There can be many reasons for this, and one of them is not just the usual overeating or hormonal issues, but a liver overloaded with toxins. The thing is, the liver plays the role of a filter, neutralizing alcohol, artificial additives, medications, fatty foods, and other unwanted substances that we, without even realizing it, supply to the body every day. But if toxins enter too quickly or in too large an amount, the liver simply cannot handle processing them. What does the body do in this situation? It starts hiding the extra toxins in fat cells, sort of storing them there for better times. As a result, fat tissue grows, and losing weight becomes almost impossible until the liver is relieved. It's like an office where the trash bin is overflowing and the cleaner never shows up. Where do you put the trash? Right, pile it in the corners. That's exactly what the body does. Fat becomes a temporary storage for toxins. But the problem is that temporary can stretch on for years. If you notice that diets and exercise bring minimal results, it's worth thinking about your liver health. It may be the one blocking your weight loss. The solution lies not only in proper nutrition and workouts, but also in cleansing the body, supporting the liver, and giving up harmful habits. Number 7. Loss of appetite. At first glance this might seem like a dream. Finally, I don't crave sweets and fast food, I'll lose weight effortlessly. But in reality, the loss of interest in food is a troubling symptom, especially if it comes with nausea, sudden weight loss, and overall weakness. When the liver is overloaded with toxins and can't keep up with filtering, the entire digestive process suffers. It's as if the body stops trusting food. It's no longer perceived as a source of energy but instead causes discomfort. That's why the first signs may look like regular flu, weakness, aches, sometimes a slight fever. But over time the condition worsens, and instead of appetite you get frequent bouts of nausea, and in severe cases even vomiting. Imagine the liver as the main quality controller in your body. If it stops doing its job, the whole system begins to fail. Food is no longer properly digested, toxins accumulate, and instead of energy you get fatigue and a loss of interest in life. It's important to understand, appetite is one of the basic indicators of health. If it disappears for no obvious reason, don't comfort yourself with the thought that the diet is just working. It could be an early signal of serious liver problems. That's why the wise step is not to wait for it to go away on its own, but to see a doctor as soon as possible and find out the cause. Sometimes these very unnoticeable symptoms allow a disease to be caught at an early stage, when treatment is most effective. Number 6. Constant bad breath. Yes, sometimes we know ourselves why our breath leaves much to be desired: garlic for dinner, strong coffee, or cigarettes. In such cases, a toothbrush, gum, or a mint candy is enough and the problem is solved. But if bad breath becomes chronic and doesn't go away even after thorough oral hygiene, this can be a signal of much more serious issues in the body. Many people think that the source of such a problem always lies only in the teeth or gums. Partly that's true, cavities, inflammation, or plaque can indeed worsen the situation. But the body is built as a single system, and sometimes the reasons go much deeper. The bacteria living in the mouth can easily penetrate the digestive tract, disrupt the balance of microflora, and even affect liver function. Doctors have even introduced a special term for the characteristic smell that arises in liver disease: Fater hepaticus. It is persistent and specific, and often appears even before a person feels other symptoms of liver problems. In other words, bad breath may be the first alarm bell that the liver is overloaded with toxins and starting to work at its limit. It's important to remember, if even after regular brushing and the use of mouth rinses the problem remains, its source may not be in the mouth at all. In such cases, it's worth seeing a doctor and checking the condition of the liver and stomach. After all, sometimes our body talks to us exactly this way, through what may seem like small and embarrassing signs. Number 5. Allergies and yellowing of the skin. It may seem unexpected, but allergic reactions are often connected not only with pollen, animal fur, or food, but also with the condition of the liver. When this organ is overloaded with toxins and can't neutralize them in time, more harmful compounds enter the blood than the body can handle. The brain perceives such substances as a threat and launches a defense mechanism. Antibodies and histamines are produced. The result: itchy rashes, redness, and even swelling. Interestingly, the skin is often the first to signal problems with the liver. Itching is especially noticeable on the palms and soles, and most often it gets worse in the evening or at night, interfering with normal rest. A healthy liver, on the other hand, quickly cleanses the blood and doesn't allow such substances to circulate through the body, preventing false allergies. But that's not all. Another bright and alarming signal is jaundice. It shows up as a change in the color of the skin and the whites of the eyes. They turn yellowish, sometimes even orange. This is not a separate disease but a symptom that the liver is not coping with its key task, removing bilirubin. Bilirubin is a pigment formed during the natural breakdown of old red blood cells. Normally, the liver processes and removes it from the body. But when the organ is overloaded or damaged, bilirubin accumulates in the blood and stains the skin. It turns out that a person literally glows like a character from the cartoon The Simpsons. It's worth remembering, both itchy rashes and yellowing of the skin are not just cosmetic defects, but troubling signals that the liver needs help. Ignoring such signs is dangerous, because behind them may be serious illnesses requiring a doctor's attention. Number 3. Dark urine. One of the troubling signals that the liver is overloaded with toxins and not coping with its task is a change in the color of urine. This symptom is closely tied to jaundice. When too much bilirubin accumulates in the blood, the kidneys try to take part of the job on themselves and remove it through urine. As a result, its shade becomes unusual and frightening. We're not talking about light fluctuations of color caused by coffee, beets, or lack of water, but about persistent darkness. Urine turns orange, amber, or even a rich brown, like cola or black tea. It's important to remember, a one-time color change is no reason to panic. But if urine stays dark for several days in a row and other symptoms appear, for example, yellowing of the skin and eyes, itching, or general weakness, this is already a serious signal that the liver needs help. Especially alarming is the combination of dark urine together with light, grayish, or even bloody stool. Such a combination can indicate serious failures in the liver and bile ducts. Simply put, your body sends signals through the simplest and most familiar processes. That's why you should pay attention even to such small things as urine color. It can become an important clue for timely medical attention. Number 2. Quick appearance of bruises. A bruise is something everyone is familiar with. Usually, it appears after a bump or a small injury. Blood from damaged vessels gets under the skin, and we see the characteristic spot, changing color from purple to yellow as it heals. Sometimes it even brings a smile, for example, if the bruise is left after a clumsy fall while dancing or playing actively. But if you notice that bruises appear too often or show up literally out of nowhere, it's a reason to think about liver health. The thing is, the liver doesn't just act as a filter for toxins, it also synthesizes proteins needed for blood clotting. When the liver is working properly, these proteins protect our vessels. With an injury, the blood clots quickly, and the bruise stays small. But if liver function is impaired, the production of such proteins slows down. As a result, the vessels become vulnerable, even the slightest pressure or bump leaves a noticeable mark, and bleeding can last longer than usual. Excessive tendency to bruise is an alarming signal that the blood clotting system is weakened, which means the liver may be overloaded with toxins or suffering from disease. It's important not to ignore this symptom and not to write it off as just clumsiness. Your body is literally writing hints on your skin. And the sooner you pay attention to them, the higher the chance to help the liver recover in time. Number 1. Chronic fatigue. Each of us complains about fatigue from time to time. Sleepless nights, a crazy work rhythm, constant stress, and in the morning you already feel as if you didn't sleep at all. But if fatigue becomes your constant companion, doesn't go away for weeks and months, and even after rest you wake up exhausted, it's a signal that the matter is much more serious. Chronic fatigue syndrome is not just a trendy phrase, but a real condition that can last 6 months or more, accompanied by weakness, reduced concentration, memory problems, and a feeling of constant flu without the flu. And often the root cause lies precisely in the liver. Why? It's simple, the liver plays an important role in energy production. It converts glucose into glycogen, a kind of reserve battery for the body, and releases it when our body needs fuel. But if the liver is overloaded with toxins, inflamed, or damaged, its abilities drop sharply. As a result, you literally have a drained battery, and no coffee can fix it. The good news is that the liver has a unique ability to regenerate. It's enough to give it a break, Change your diet, give up excessive alcohol consumption, minimize chemical additives and artificial products, and the body will gradually begin to regain its strength. Scientists confirm, green tea, turmeric, lemon water, garlic, fresh vegetables, and fruits help the liver work more effectively and gently cleanse it. So if you feel like a walking zombie, don't rush to blame only work or stress. It may be that the liver is sending you a signal for help. Listen to your body and take care of it in time. And now a question for you: what do you do to maintain your energy and health? Do you have your own proven ways to help your liver recover? Share them in the comments, maybe your advice will be useful for others.